You can see like light here. You can see it on this side as well. Although definitely, no, that's good. Oh man, what's happening, guys? How we doing? Life is fucking weird, man. It's a weird thing. I think that yeah, it's strange. I So this last week I went to Mexico, and originally why I was going to Mexico was I was going to stay with the Huichol tribe, and we are going to shoot a documentary about hickory, which is peyote. And the Huichol tribe, there's another word, Waxari or something like that. But the Huichol tribe is famous for their indigenous use of peyote. And this meeting was supposed to, it was supposed to go a certain way. I was pretty excited about it, but everything fell apart, dude. We got there and shit was just not working from day one. But here's where it gets weird. So I'll give you a little more detail now. We show up, the initial. Actually, let me turn this around. All right. Yeah. So we show up, and the initial. Had such a long fucking arm, dude. That's crazy. I don't know. We'll see how well my voice projects. I want the bookshelf in here. I think the bookshelf really brings it together. My fucking IV bag here, so I can do IVs while I fucking podcast like a goddamn bro, dude. Um, all right, so we're going to do this thing. We show up. Um, the person who was facilitating our connection with the Weechel tribe, last minute they're like, "Hey, we're changing locations. It's a 7 hour drive." So 7 hour drive through Mexico. Got to rent a car, all this stuff. And logistically, that didn't make sense. So we're like, okay, we'll try to take a bus. So we look at the bus, and it's like, okay, you're gonna land. We're gonna have 10 minutes, take fucking peyote, and then have to dip out the next day. Like it just logistically didn't make sense. So my buddy Jarrett, some of you may know him as Soul of Jarrett. He has a spot in Guadalajara on Lake Chapala. So he was like, cool. You want to just go to my house? So it's not a waste of a trip. And I was like, yeah, let's go. Where is it? He's like, it's in Guadalajara. Here's where it gets weird, dude. For months now, I have been seeing the name Guadalajara like everywhere. So much so that I've mentioned it to my wife several times. I've mentioned it to my buddy Jared. As a matter of fact, we were shooting a video in Taos, New Mexico. And while we were in Taos, we're having this conversation. I'm like, I don't know what it is, but something's pulling me in to Guadalajara. And as we're having this discussion, boom, we stop at a light, and there's a billboard next to us that says, Guadalajara, come visit Guadalajara, and it was for a restaurant. And yeah, it's just been weird. It's been beckoning and calling me. And so we shot a bunch of content for Jarrett's YouTube channel. Some of that stuff that I'll repurpose, I'll put some of it on here as well. And we ate a little bit of doses. Doses are something that I don't want to say what the actual name of it is on here, but you can figure that out. And we took one tab each, and I had a beautiful experience, man. I had a beautiful experience. We dove into this conversation, and I realized that I've been 1 foot in and 1 foot out of the life that I want and the life that I have. And here's the challenge, man. I am 31 years old. I have 6 children. I have a beautiful 6 bedroom house. I have I had a business that I sold last spring, and I really wanted to dive into a new venture. Um, a little bit more about my background. I used to be a commercial diver, so I did like underwater welding, pipeline inspection, potable water inspection. I did that. I love the ocean. I love diving, but I did that, and it was funny. I went to dive school, and I realized pretty quickly that I wasn't going to be a career diver. And while I was in dive school, I got what's called Chapter 32. So my mom is a 100% disabled veteran. She got blown up in Iraq in 2003, and so because she's 100% disabled, I was given GI Bill benefits, right? So I got a certain amount of money. I think it was something in the ballpark of like 30 grand to use on school. And so I went to commercial dive school. And about a month into it, I called my mom and I'm like, Mom, I'm just not like these guys. Like they're super blue collar and that's cool, but it's just not the archetype I am. I'm an adventurer. I am an entrepreneur. I like doing these kind of things, but I don't see myself having a career in this field. And my mom said, I'm gonna be honest with you, your dad's gonna give up on you if you don't do this. Like this is your last chance. He's done with you after this. If you don't commit to this, like he's done. And so I did it, dude. I became a commercial diver, and when I got out, I went into the oil and gas industry in the Gulf of Mexico. I started doing a whole bunch of work, and then my girlfriend at the time got pregnant with our first child, and dude, I just dove into years of this career that I fucking hated, and I just did it because I was told it was the right thing to do, and at the time, I didn't have the discernment to know what the difference was between the right thing to do and the right thing for me to do. And so, yeah, it started a career as a commercial diver. And that was short lived. You know, most people, I think, on average, most commercial divers, I graduated in a class of 32. Within 1 year, 75% of those people are no longer in the industry. And that's how quick the turnover rate is. Really hard on your body, hard on your relationships, and you're working nonstop. I made it about 3 years, and then I left. I came home. I wanted to be around my kids, and so I started a landscaping business. Then I started a handyman business, and I've started a whole bunch of businesses. And it's all been for the same thing, and that's just money. It's never really been about like what truly inspires me and what really like sets my soul on fire and what I have to contribute to the world. I did also work in the ibogaine industry. That's a plant medicine used to help overcome addiction. So I worked in that field for a while. I've done a lot of different stuff, man. And here's the thing: is there's a series of lessons that I've come to run into time and time again. First and foremost is I keep doing this thing where I'm like, oh, I need to do a thing to get to the actual thing that I want to do, right? I'm like, oh, if I do this, then I can have this. And I think that this realization that I've had over the last year or so is like, no, I can just do the thing. I know I'm capable of creating success in any endeavor, So it doesn't actually matter what I do. It's just about doing what feels aligned and fulfilling to my soul. But it's really interesting, man, because when you're 31, you got a beautiful house, you got six kids, I got my wife is beautiful. People project their own failures, insecurities, and their own position onto you. And dude, I can't tell you how often I hear from people like, dude, I would kill for your life. Like, oh, dude, I would. God, I can't even get a girl to call me back. I want kids someday. All this stuff. And it's like, yeah, dude, that's great, but it doesn't fucking matter. It doesn't matter. All the things you think you want, those things don't matter nearly as much as you think they do. They're illusory. They're these things on the horizon that we use as a way to distract ourselves from what is real. And the more time I sit with it, the more I realize like I can't just complacently sit by and just because I have all the things that are supposed to make someone happy, I can't sit back and not pursue what is true to me. In Pirates of the Caribbean, there's this compass that points towards Tortuga, and I think that once you clear away enough of the bullshit, the compass in your heart becomes this compass that points towards your Tortuga, your place of refuge, your freedom, your solace, your soul's purpose. And I realized that these circumstances, this big, beautiful house, this family of mine, that's not my purpose. It's not to say I'm not grateful. It's not to say I don't love my children. It's not my purpose. I have a larger purpose that I need to fulfill in this life. And dude, there's so many different ways that we could go into this philosophically. So many people are so unhappy with what they have that they look at other people and they go, oh, I want that. And I've never been that type. I'm very grateful for the life I have, regardless of whether or not it's perfect or it's, aligned, exceptionally well with my desires or whatever. But what I'm feeling now is this tug, dude, this calling, right? It feels like the ocean is calling me and it's telling me like you still have to go on the adventure of life. You can't just stop. Like you've been gifted a life. You cannot just you can't just hit the brakes because you have kids now. You can't just, we're such an emotional culture now that we go like, well, my dad wasn't there for me, so I have to be there for my kids. And it's like, yeah, but you're compensating now. And so not only are you, one is, it's the easiest way to describe it is like poor people, right? Poor people go like, oh, I had nothing growing up, so I'm gonna make sure my kids have everything, and then they spoil the shit out of their kids. And it's like, just because your father wasn't present doesn't mean that your excess of presence is going to benefit your children in the way that you think it will. See, at the end of the day, your children need to see someone go into the world and create something and pursue something, whatever that is for you. If living, in your hometown and working at the local hardware store is what your heart feels called to do, then I love you, bro. Do that shit. Follow it fully and show your children what it means to follow that love and follow that compass inside of themselves. But also, if you have children and your heart tells you to go be a fucking actor, go be an actor. Show your children what it means to pursue that compass inside of themselves. I was watching Interstellar the other day, and I was kind of reminiscing when Interstellar came out. I saw it in theaters when I was still an addict. This is, a decade ago. And I remember going to the theater and crying my eyes out when I saw it. And I felt this feeling of loneliness. And I was like, man, I'm never going to experience that. I'll never have children. I'll never have a love so strong that losing it is like ethereal. And here I am years later, and I realize so many people, they see the world and they see life through this lens of joy, bliss, happiness, and it's like, bro, there's something profound about suffering. Like having children doesn't just open you up to the greatest joy possible, it opens you up to the greatest suffering possible, which is also a gift and a blessing. You see, like nothing is as it seems in this world. It's so easy to look at the bad things that happen to us and go, oh, that's bad. I want to avoid that, right? The Buddha talked about attachment and aversion. Well, it's so easy to look at our story and have these attachments and aversions. But the truth is that the story of your life, in all of your joy, all of your bliss, your suffering, your anger, your frustration, the totality is what makes up the poetry of life. That's it, right? It's the hero's journey of going on the great adventure and losing everything and the tragedy and the triumph. The whole thing is what paints this mosaic, this beautiful painting of a human life. It doesn't just come from no adversity and no suffering and no failure. It doesn't come from just static experience. But this world we live in where we're cultivating specific, like, we're cultivating specific outcomes. Like I'm getting on here and I'm rambling. I'm just fucking talking at people. And most people, it doesn't resonate because they're used to a curated and cultivated narrative. Someone coming on here and reading a script to them that's perfectly concise and that doesn't bounce all over the place. And that the person they are manufacturing a specific thing to get a specific result. I'm not doing that. I'm just putting this out there, and I know that the internet's like a garden. It's a perfect example of the universe. It's a garden, and whatever you put in it will grow, but you just have to plant those seeds and water them. That's it. So that's what I'm doing here is I'm just planting seeds and I'm watering them, and if they grow, they grow, and if you see this and it resonates, then that's great. But it seems as though what we're trying to do is we're trying to synthesize static experience, right? We want things to be one way. We want it to always be good. We don't want any bad. We don't want ebbs and flows. We don't want life to be a roller coaster. We want it to be predictable because predictable is less chaotic, and less chaotic helps us sleep a little bit better at night. But if there's one thing I've learned through all of my years, it's that the greatest joys in life don't come from predictability. They don't come from a static experience. They come from the chaos, the catharsis, the insanity of the human experience. That's what makes this shit special. It's not some fucking perfectly cultivated and curated experience. I when I ate those tabs the other day in Mexico, I had this realization where anything that is not in a state of decay is not real. If you want to find out if something's real, show me that it is decaying, and that is what means it's real. Like look at these look at these people who get all this plastic surgery. They're trying to preserve their youth, and it's like, you're fake, you're not real. You're literally synthesizing something. You're not real. What's real is aging. What's real is the process of cellular expansion and contraction and birth and death. That's what's real. Something that lasts forever is not real. A relationship that lasts forever, it's not real, right? Look at your relationship with your children, dude. They grow up and they move on. There's that song by oh, what's his name? Cat Stevens, Wild World, right? And so many people, they think it's about a girl, right? I think it's about children. It's about like letting your children go into the world. That's what I heard when I listened to it. And obviously, beauty's in the eye of the beholder, and as a father, that's what I chose to see. But I just think it's so fascinating, man. I think it's so powerful that we live in this world where it's like that's what technology is doing is it wants perfect. Look at architecture. It used to be really unique, and now it's all these like, straight angles and like it's perfection. We're desiring to create perfection. We're projecting an unrealistic thing onto the world around us. What's amazing is nature isn't perfect. And in that, there is perfection. There's death, destruction, chaos, suffering, all of that. And that's fucking perfect. It's perfect. We have these fucking crazy ideas that perfect means never hurting, never suffering, never experiencing anything but one static experience. And it's just ludicrous, dude. It's ludicrous. So I say all this to say I'm in this position now where I'm getting ready to jump. I'm getting ready to move into this next evolution. The realization I had in Mexico is I have one foot in, one foot out. I came back and I was like, oh, I'm gonna start a couple more businesses, and I just need money, and the money's gonna fix everything, and the money never fixes everything. I promise you, the more money I get, the more I realize the money never fixes the things you think it's gonna fix. It helps you a little bit, and then you're like, fuck, I need more money. I need money. And it's like, bro, if you just fucking follow that compass inside of you, you would access all of the abundance in the world. You would access all of the resources you would need, and you would be on your soul's mission. And so a resource acquisition wouldn't be the purpose, right? The mission would be the purpose, and acquisition would occur throughout that process, that catharsis, because that's what it is. It's fucking cathartic, dude. It's cathartic feeling that compass inside of you lead you, especially in a direction that society says is like, whoa, 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 whoa. You need to sit down, bub. You got things you got to do here. You can't be going and traveling and doing things, okay? And yeah, so that's where I'm at, dude. Is I'm about to jump into this brand new project. I have this camera that I've wanted for years, dude, and I manifested this shit. This is a Sony Cinema camera. I've got all the equipment now. I've got all the stuff that I can take this thing and I can travel the world. And I want to create documentaries, dude. I want to create immersive documentaries showing the cultures of the world, showing the things that fascinate me, showing things like plant medicine and the people that have become characters in my life. It's like this is what Guadalajara was to me. It was the final, like, it was a confrontation of like, hey, like, are you about it? Here's the characters, here's the opportunities. Will you pursue this? Or are you gonna go one foot in, one foot out, and you're gonna pussyfoot around this, and you're gonna end up in this perfect environment with all the things you ever wanted, still suffering? Dude, I got a blowjob. I don't know if we're allowed to say blowjob on the YouTube space, but this is like a couple of weeks ago, and I got a blowjob, and it was so funny because as after I came, I'm all that came to my mind was Eloi Eloi lama sabachthani, which is according to Matthew and Mark, it's what Christ said while he's being crucified, and it's my Lord, why have you forsaken me? Right? Because perfection it's a prison of its own, dude. It's a prison. Having everything you ever wanted, it's a prison. You're not supposed to get everything you want. And furthermore, it's not a matter of want necessarily. It's a matter of like perfection. You're not supposed to have perfect things, dude. You're not supposed to get the perfect blowjob every single day. You're not supposed to have the perfect kids. You're not supposed to have the perfect house. You're not supposed to have perfection, because when you get all of the perfect things, you get all the money, you get all the stuff that's supposed to make you happy, you're gonna be sitting there in your big fucking house. You're gonna be sitting there after you get your blowjob, going, "Oh fuck, I got it all. Now what?" And in that, you'll realize I have to find something that's tangible. I have to understand this suffering. You know, look at the Buddha. The Buddha was a prince, dude. He lived in a fucking castle. The Buddha was a prince, and he did. Bro, the Buddha was a prince. He was a fucking prince, bro. The Buddha was a prince. He had a castle, or sorry, whatever the Indian equivalent to a castle is. Massive temple, walled in, servants, unlimited resources, food. He had a child. He had a wife, and he was still like, "Fuck, dude, I'm suffering. I'm suffering. Why? Why do I suffer? Why do others suffer?" He still went into the world, and finally he just sits down. He's like, "Fuck, dude." He searches through all the land and meets all the gurus and all this shit. And finally he goes, "I give up, dude." And he sits down. And as he sits down, he sits in silence and he observes his own breath and his own mind, this monkey mind as it's running about. And he realizes, oh, I have attachments and aversions, right? And then he feels the sensation of being. And as he feels this sensation, he realizes, oh, this sensation is attached to a story. These sensations have a story that I am attached to or that I have an aversion to. According to culture and society, he shouldn't have done that. He should have just been grateful for his castle and shut the fuck up and done what he was supposed to do. And you see, most people, this doesn't resonate with them because they have nothing that they want, right? Here's the secret to that too: is like they have everything they fucking want. They just don't realize that they want dumb shit. And when I say dumb shit, I mean, okay, take me in my commercial diving for example. I became a commercial diver, dude. I got a job in the industry, all that shit. I wanted it, but I didn't want it. I wanted it because I wanted my parents to like me. I wanted it, but I didn't want it. So how many things in life do we want, but we don't actually want, right? I want to be a dentist. It's like, no, you don't want to be a fucking dentist. You want the the social status of the dentist, the paycheck of the dentist, and you want your family to like you. But for most people, that's what life is. It's it's not about their own dhamma, right? Or their own path. It's about fulfilling the vision that others have for you. You know, there's that old saying, most people buy things they don't want to impress people they don't like. Most people build lives they don't want to impress people they don't like. We get wrapped up in a story, and then way down the road we realize, oh, it wasn't even my story. I was living the whole time for other people. And the expectations of others, the expectations of society, it's just, you're not gonna win, dude. You're gonna get everything you ever fucking wanted, and it won't be enough. You're still gonna be miserable. You're still gonna be suffering. You need all the blowjobs in the world. You're gonna have a big fucking bank account. You have kids that are awesome, and it's still not gonna be enough. Because at the end of the day, there is this insatiable desire in the human soul to fulfill its purpose, whatever that is, bro. Again, this is not, it's not saying you have to have some crazy grand purpose. You don't need to want to be some special, character in this game of life. Your purpose could be, do you want to be a homeless dude who just fucking, begs for change on the side of the freeway? That truly can be your purpose if you feel called. I think most of us, we have a deeper purpose and we ignore it for creature comforts. And I'm in a place now where I'm recognizing I want to go on great adventures. I am a person who finds great depth in life. I love connecting with people. I love connecting with culture. I love talking with others about the depth of the human experience. This shit sets my heart on fire. It sets it ablaze. I love being a mirror for others to see themselves in, and I love, love, love experiencing the ups and downs of being human. I don't want a fucking static experience. Give me sadness, give me happiness, give me joy, give me hope, give me hatred. Give me all of it. I want a full human experience. And that's what I'm going to do. I'm going to travel the world. I'm going to make some documentaries. And I guess this is just my video letting you guys know that I can't fucking do this 1 foot in, 1 foot out thing anymore. So, the old me is dead. I'm declaring now that the new me is gonna be way better. No, I'm going for it, dude. I'm going into the world and I'm going to create. It's funny. My great grandfather was a gentleman. Sorry, great great grandfather. He's kind of a legend in Scotland. My family's from. So we're from two places. We're from Denmark, from Ribe, which is. It's in like the Jutland Peninsula, and it is essentially like a 8th century Viking trading post, right? One of the oldest, one of the origins of the Vikings, allegedly, right? And then on the other side of my family, we're from Scotland, from the Isle of Iona, which was one of the first monasteries that was raided by the Vikings. It's famous for. There's two monasteries that are famous in Scotland for Viking raids. That's Lindisfarne Castle and Iona. And I forget which, but they're famous because the Vikings came and drowned the monks in the water, which is kind of a crazy story. Isle of Iona is also where the Book of Kells was written, which is the Celtic Gospels. So really fascinating, man. Beautiful places, but anyway, the reason I bring up my great great grandfather is he's a legend in Iona. His name was Peter the Gold, and the story goes that he was a fisherman, and he's fishing, and this ship comes, and it's a Spanish pirate ship, and they kidnap him, and they make him guide them out of the waters around Scotland because there are all these locks and whatnot, and he guides them out of there, and they take him back to Spain. And when he gets there, the crew convinces the captain to compensate him, and he gives him a bag of gold. And he comes home and he pays off the family sharecrop, and he goes on. He moves to Canada, becomes a very very wealthy man in Canada. Has two sons, my great grandfather and his, my great uncle or great great uncle, and they become prominent politicians, businessmen, among other things. But it's funny. He's got this whole legend about him, right? And those were the kind of stories I grew up hearing, and those were the kind of things that, to me, it's like that. There's something so alluring about that. I got to be honest. If pirates tried to kidnap me, like I have 6 kids, bro. I have fucking things to do here still. Yeah, technically, I would go in a fucking heartbeat. What an adventure, right? Because that's what life is. I was watching. I don't know if I had. Yeah, I mentioned this briefly earlier. So I'm getting a little tied up in my yapping here. I was watching that thing, Interstellar, and I saw this really interesting take that the whole thing is actually about this dude Murph dying, and then in the beginning he dies, and this whole thing is actually him as he's exiting Earth and going into the afterlife, and that's what the whole story is really around. And I think it's so cool, man, when you look at it through that lens. But I was thinking about it, man. It's like that's a more poetic and beautiful existence than just like Jim Bob went to work every day and he came home and like. And again, it's not for everyone, right? Some people are meant to live adventurous lives. Some people are not. Some people are meant to sit at home and crochet, and some people are not. And so, whoever you are, it's about knowing who you are, knowing your truth, and just pursuing that. That's really what it comes down to, right? Again, if you have children, especially, show them that whatever their truth is they have this obligation to honor that truth. Yeah. So, anyway, I haven't made a video since Mexico, so this is my ramblings since Mexico. I did get some wonderful spiritual insights when I was taking the doses. One, it was so funny. I was sitting in the pool and I'm like splashing water on the concrete, and it just hit me. I was like, it's cause and effect I'm playing with here. I splash the water on, the sun dries it up, and I watch it in real time. And I'm like, wow, dude, this is so magical. I'm like watching God in action. And then I got this, I started laughing. I'm like, it's so funny. Human beings, we experience cause and effect, and we go, oh, wow, God, God must really, like you stick your hand on a hot stove, and you're like, oh my God, God, what are you trying to tell me? And it's like, yeah, don't stick your hand on a hot stove. We, uh, we like spiritualize the experience of being human. It's like, yeah, this whole thing is spiritual, but that doesn't mean that every single thing is a sign. The signs are all around us, but they're not everything. Some things are just cause and effect. And yeah, I thought that was kind of a funny one. Right? How many times have we stuck our hand in a hot, on a hot stove, metaphorical stove, maybe real stove, I don't know. And we burn ourselves and we go, oh my God, what is God trying to teach me? Like, we're like sitting there like, wow, what does this mean? It's like, yeah, it means don't fucking stick your hand on a hot stove, bub. So anyway, yeah, I'm gonna start making some documentary films, dude. I'm gonna travel the world. I'm gonna create something really cool, and you're all gonna come back to this channel and you're gonna go, wow, this dude did the thing he talked about doing, and he's fucking nuts. and I look forward to that, man. I'm totally okay with looking nuts. I already look nuts. My buddy, he brought this up. He's like, bro, you're already putting it all out there. You may as well go all in. Like, you already look like you're fucking a little, maybe a couple of screws loose, and you're already putting all your intimate things out there. Like, just go all in. You know, what have you got to lose? Don't be 1 foot in, 1 foot out. So if you're hearing this and there's something in your life that you're 1 foot in, 1 foot out on, just go for it, dude. That's what I urge you to do. I think there's some sort of gift on the other side of that, of going all in on that. And yeah, fucking love you guys. Yeah, it's funny too, man, because I created this studio space in my new house. I have all these things, and it's like I'm not like abandoning my home and my family and stuff like that, but I cultivated this space as a way to not have to go into the world. I cultivated all these perfect things as a way to satiate myself. Like, oh, if I get a bunch of pussy and I got a hot wife and I got a bunch of kids and I got this house, then I won't have to follow my path. This will satiate me. And it's like, no, 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 no. Now you got a bunch of baggage and you still have to follow your path. So whatever it is, man, learn how to cultivate that compass inside of you. Follow whatever it is, whatever your life circumstances are. Those don't matter nearly as much as you think they do. It's all a story. You can still be whatever you want to be, whatever you feel called, and want and feeling are different things, right? I can want to get, three bad fucking Latinas in here shaking their asses in my face right now, but what I feel in my heart that I need is not that. So it's like you gotta have a little discernment and know the difference between what you want and what feels really aligned with your soul. So in this case, I feel I feel like God, the universe, it's been talking to me for a long time, and it's saying, trust us, just trust. You got this, bro. You got this. You don't need a perfect environment to do it in. No number of blowjobs is gonna take away this unquenchable desire inside of you, and if you show up fully, then the universe will reward that bravery. So anyway, love you guys. Like, comment, subscribe. If you don't want to do those things, that's fine also. I'm not your mom. Can't tell you what to do. Love you guys. Peace.